Okay, we split this up. I was going to respond to Golden Blue Dude's top 25, but it took me 15 minutes just to get through the 15 to 25. So let's. Well, actually, we made it all the way to 11. My bad. Let's start. Let's do the top 10. Now, Golden Blue Dude has OU at 10. So 6 is Utah, 7 Miami, 8 Ole Miss, 9 Tennessee, 10 OU. I'll leave that up there. 10 at OU. Coaches have them at 9, so that's about right. I don't think they're a top 10 team. I think they're a top 15 team. Understand, I do think they're going to be pretty good. The key is Dylan Gabriel from UCF. He transferred in. How quickly does he get acclimated to being in Norman? And I also believe that another key is going to be Eric Gray, their running back. How quickly is he going to get used to being the starter, and is he going to have 1,000-yard rushing? If he has 1,000 yards rushing this year, OU is going to be really good. They do have Oklahoma State at home. They do have Baylor at home. But they have to go to Iowa State. Playing in Ames is always difficult. And they have to go at West Virginia. And I have that as a loss. So, to me, and this is weird, there's a lot of good games on September 17th this year. Week 3, OU has to go to Nebraska. Now, Golden Blue Dude says that OU is going to lose that game. I've got them winning. Not by much. If there's a spread of like 7, 8, 9 points, if the Sooners are favored by more than a touchdown, then I would bet against the spread because it's going to be a close football game. Number 9, Tennessee. This is a gutsy call by Golden Blue Dude because the coaches don't even have them ranked. But this is how I know Golden Blue Dude does his homework. According to Phil Steele's magazine, Tennessee has 8 offensive starters and 7 defensive starters returning. That's huge. They've got Florida and Alabama at home. Now, Bama's going to be tough. If they can pull off the upset against Bama, they're going to have a really good year. Problem is they have to go at South Carolina, at Georgia, and at LSU. And they've got to win at least one of those 2 games, either South Carolina or Georgia, if they're going to have a chance to win the SEC East. So, number 8, Golden Blue Dude has Ole Miss. They only have 5 offensive starters returning, but they have 7 defensive starters returning. Now, here's the thing. I think their schedule is okay. They do have Auburn at home. They have Alabama at home. And they have Mississippi State at home. If they could win 2 out of those 3, then they will have a chance to make it to the SEC title game. But they have to play at LSU, at Texas A&M, and at Arkansas. That's where I honestly think they're not going to contend for the SEC. I don't think they'll be in the SEC title game. They'll go to a decent bowl. Lane Kiffin's a good coach, but the key, once again, September 17th. It seems like this is a theme here. September 17th, Ole Miss at Georgia Tech. Now, is Georgia Tech a contender for the ACC? No. But for them to go on the road against another Power 5 opponent, we'll see how good Ole Miss really is. And give them credit for taking on a quality opponent in the non-conference. Golden Blue Dude has Miami at 7. The coaches have them at 17, and I'm torn. Remember, I just talked about Texas A&M. If Miami can go into Texas A&M and win, that'll show me that Miami's legit. That the U is back. You know, I always see players on the Miami team doing this. If Miami can beat Texas A&M at Kyle Field, that's saying something. Now, here's the thing. They've got They've got Florida State at home. They've got Pitt at home, and they have North Carolina at home. So that's going to help them. What's going to be hard is they have to go at Clemson and at Vatech. I know Vatech is not ranked. I know Vatech is down a little bit. I think they're going to come back around. But playing at Vatech with that, when Enter Sandman hits, that place starts rocking. It's a very difficult place to play football. Honestly, as a side note, that's one of my things on my bucket list. I would just to love to see the entrance when they play Enter Sandman. Whoever came up with that idea was really, really cool. That's almost as cool as South Carolina's entrance with Ric Flair's theme music. Number 6, Utah. Coaches have them at 8. Golden Blue Dude has them at 6. That's about right. They're a top 10 team. They're the defending Pac-12 champions, so I can see why they're ranked very high. They have 8 offensive starters returning and 6 defensive starters returning, so they're going to be a pretty stout team. Here's the thing. They have USC at home, and they have Stanford at home. That's good. A tough thing is they have to go at Oregon, at Colorado, at UCLA. Those are not going to be easy games. Now, what is going to determine how good Utah is really going to be? Look at their first game at Florida. Utah has to go to Florida. They have to go to the Swamp. If Utah can go to Florida and win, just like Oregon went to Ohio State and won last year, man, oh man, that will truly legitimize the Pac-12. And I do believe the national championship game is going to be in LA this year. So, or in January of 2023. Man, if Utah or Oregon can get in the national championship game, that will be something special. And there's a real possibility. Clemson at 5. The coaches have them at 4, so that's about right. They have 9 offensive starters returning. They have 6 defensive starters returning. This is going to be a formidable team. Now, here's the thing. They have Louisville at home, and they have Miami at home. That's good. But they have to go at Florida State and at Wake Forest. And I know Wake Forest isn't the greatest of teams, but Wake Forest did play in the ACC title game last year. So you have to respect them. Now, the key to me to Clemson's season is going to be November 5th. They have to play at Notre Dame. Now, the coaches have Notre Dame at number 5. I don't agree. I hope that Clemson beats the snot out of Notre Dame, and I hope BYU does the same thing, because then I don't have to worry about them in the national title picture. Because if Notre Dame actually makes the top 4 and makes it into the playoff, then there's most likely a Big 12 team won't make it. But I don't think Notre Dame's going to beat Clemson or BYU, and so that's not going to be a problem, if I'm right. All right, top 4. Now, Golden Blue Dude has Baylor at number 4. Coaches have them at 10. I tend to lean somewhere in the middle, but I do believe that they are a legit contender to make the playoff. Here's why. They have 6 offensive starters returning. They have 6 defensive starters returning. 4 of their 5 offensive linemen are returning. But to me, the biggest key is their nose tackle. Siaki Ika, number 62, is one of the best defensive tackles in all of college football. The difference between Oklahoma State beating Baylor in the regular season and then losing in the Big 12 title game is the fact that one of Oklahoma State's offensive linemen got hurt. They had to put a backup in. The starter for OSU could go toe-to-toe with Ika. The backup could not. And they had to double-team him because of that. So Ika, most offensive line have to double-team him, and he is a beast. and I have to show him a lot of respect to him. He is a true monster in the middle. And if I'm an NFL GM, I'm salivating at the idea of trying to pick him up in the first round. Because that's the kind of anchor you need on your defense. The key for Baylor is going to be September 10th. I want to see how they do at BYU. If they win that game and handle the situation. See, BYU is interesting because you will get a gauge at how good Oregon has to play them. Notre Dame's going to play them, and Baylor. So you're looking at how good are those three teams relative to playing BYU. That ought to give us an indication of how strong the Pac-12 is compared to the Big 12, and so we'll see. I really think those three games are going to determine which one makes the playoff. If Notre Dame wins and they go 11-1, they may make the playoff. If of course Utah plays them as well. So if Oregon beats BYU, and Utah loses to BYU, you may end up seeing Oregon in the top four. We'll see. Georgia at number 3. Now the top 3, the coaches poll and Golden Blue Dude are exactly the same. And he's spot on. I think these 3 teams are very good, and I think you should put Georgia in the top 3 for now. Here's why. They have 7 offensive starters returning. They only have 3 defensive starters coming back. And of course, Georgia plays Oregon September 3rd in Atlanta. They've got to win that game if they're going to be considered. So, but as far as the SEC is concerned, Georgia has Tennessee at home. They have Auburn at home, but they have to go at Kentucky, at Mizzou, and at South Carolina. That's going to be tough. And quite frankly, I think the winner of the Kentucky-Florida game is going to be the SEC East champion. Of course, you know that Florida and Georgia play in Jacksonville. That's pretty cool. I want to go to that game just once, just to experience the atmosphere. Number 2, Ohio State. Coaches have them at number 2 as well. They have 6 offensive and 8 defensive starters. Now, Ohio State has Michigan at home and they have Iowa at home. But they have to go at Michigan State and they have to go at Penn State. Of course, to me, the key is game 1. September 3rd, Ohio State versus Notre Dame at Ohio, in Columbus. And I'm picking the Buckeyes. But Ohio State needs to win that game, and they need to win it soundly to solidify themselves as a legit national contender. And last but not least, Alabama. Coaches have them at number 1 as well. They have the returning Heisman winner, Bryce Young. 5 offensive starters returning, but 7 on defense. Now, Auburn, they play Auburn at home. They play Texas A&M at home, which is key. But they play at LSU. They play at Ole Miss. They play at Tennessee, and they play at Arkansas. Those are all winnable games, no doubt about it. But if you don't bring your A game, you're going to lose. So, funny, Alabama starts with the letter A. They better bring their A game. I didn't do them. To me, their first 2 games are really going to tell us what's going on. Utah State, September 3rd. Yes, obviously Alabama's a favorite, but Utah State to me is an up-and-coming team, and they have shown, at least to me, when I've seen their games late at night, that they're a legitimate. They're a decent football team. Are they going to beat Bama? No, but I think they're going to play them tougher than expected. I think this is the game that Saban wants because he wants his players to realize that you can't take anybody lightly. And then, of course, the game at Texas is going to be huge. So that's my top 20, or that's my response to Golden Blue Dude's top 25. I agreed with a lot of what he said. There were a few things I was indifferent about. If you're new to the channel, please hit like and subscribe. And I hope you had a great weekend. Bye.